Hi guys, welcome to Shawn Watson Davis TV. Joyce, we're going to start with a question from you. What number question are you going to read?
I'm reading number 2.
Number 2 out of book 1, right?
Yes.
101 Conversational Questions, book 1. Go ahead.
In your opinion, what role does birth order and gender play in personality development? Give examples using your family.
Okay. Go ahead and answer that question.
I think it's very important. Generally, I found that the oldest sibling takes on either the mother or the father role with the younger siblings when the parents aren't present.
Because you've raised how many children?
I've raised 2 children.
2 children, a son and a daughter.
Yes.
And your son is the oldest.
Yes.
And so, how do you think the way that you raised him, based on him being the oldest and being male, was different from the way you raised your daughter with her being last?
I think some of it's obvious that I wanted him to play activities and sports that made him tough. And for her, she was in dance and aerobics and all types of things that developed her sense of style more.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both very verbal. So other than that, that's probably the big
Excellent. Yeah, differential.
That's how they differentiate.
And in terms of, because you were raised as an only child,
yes.
So contrast your experience in that position versus what you saw in the experience of your children being raised together.
First thing, oftentimes I had to learn early to find responses to people saying, "Oh, you're an only child, you're spoiled." And I said, "No, I'm an only child. I'm loved." And because my parents would be considered older when I was born, that they taught me a lot of things that some of my younger friends did not experience.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because it's interesting that when you have 2 children, the only 2 children that get time with parents alone, generally speaking, are the first and the last. The children in the middle don't tend to have time alone with their parents. So when you're an only child, you get the experience of both the oldest and the youngest because you're the only child in the household.
That's right.
And children who are raised as the oldest and the only tend to be high achievers because of the concentrated effort that the parents are able to put into the oldest child. Yes. And then last into the youngest child. That tends to happen, and you're definitely an example of that.
Yes.
Super smart.
I don't know if I would say super smart, but I like success. And for example, my dad dug a hole in the yard, put a tarp in it, and taught me how to change the oil.
Mm-hmm.
And I was convinced when I went to college, I was the only girl that knew how to change the oil.
Exactly.
But I also learned how to can and cook.
Right. So you got the full spectrum of everything that they could put into you.
Right.
Good job. All right. What about you, Ken? What do you think? What number are you in your family?
I am the third oldest.
You're the third oldest.
Mm-hmm.
And which boy were you? Were you first, second?
Second oldest boy.
Second oldest boy. Mm-hmm. And tell me about that experience in terms of birth order with you being in the middle.
My oldest brother was born when my parents lived in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And also my oldest sister, she was born in Alabama. Okay. So when my parents moved to Michigan, I was the firstborn here. So consequently, I was the spoiled one from day one to today. I'm still spoiled.
Per your siblings, or do you agree with that?
Both.
Okay.
Both more, I agree with it.
Okay. And why do you think being born in Michigan had that effect?
Because actually, the day my dad moved to Michigan was one day after my mom and dad got married. My
Ah.
dad left my mom in Alabama to come to Michigan to find a job, and then he sent for her. So when he sent for her, within the celebration period, hi everybody.
Gotcha. Yes. I get it. That makes sense to me. All right. What about you, Mike? What number were you?
I was second.
You were second. Out of how many?
4.
Out of 4. And were you the first boy or the second?
Second.
Second boy. Okay. So tell me about your experience in terms of what you saw in the raising of you and your siblings and how birth order played a role in terms of how each of you were treated by your parents.
Well, the oldest was bossy. Very bossy.
Still is.
Still is. So,
Very leadership oriented.
Well, it was more of a, if the parents gave us money, the oldest would get the most. And then I think the rest would get the same amount. Which, okay, it's fine. But
Why do you think they made that decision?
I guess they felt that the oldest had to be more responsible and deserved it. So,
They expected more from the oldest.
yeah, actually.
Yeah, they were leaning. The oldest child gets leaned on the most to help with the children that follow.
Yeah, somewhat. I'd say somewhat, yeah.
Excellent. What about you, Melissa?
I am the youngest of
Okay.
the 4.
Okay. The youngest of the 4. So
Yes.
that's good because we get to hear from the baby. We've got Joyce being the only, and then we've got 2 men who were in the middle, and now we get a representation from the baby of the family.
Yes.
So tell us what you feel you saw in terms of how your parents socialized each of you in terms of expectations and what effect you think that had on personality development.
Well, I was the youngest and the only girl.
So
Um,
that was perfect, wasn't it?
Yes.
Woo!
And I am 5 years younger than my youngest brother.
Gotcha.
So I think it was a big surprise, I believe.
Yes. So you got a lot of love.
They all say I was spoiled. They all see. They
Yeah,
all
you got
say
a
I
lot
was
of
spoiled.
love.
Yes. Yes.
On the positive tip.
Yes.
And describe your personality. Like, are you super social?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I'm more to myself, more quiet.
Is that right? More of an
I
introvert.
believe so. Yes.
You believe so.
Yes.
But other people say what?
I think some people may think that I'm outgoing,
Uh-huh.
more outgoing, but to me, I just like being to myself.
So internally, okay, you're more of a quiet person,
Yes.
but you're very friendly, and so people perceive you
Yes.
as being an extrovert.
I think that's how I would put it. Yes.
Gotcha. All right. 101 Conversational Questions by Shawn Watson Davis. Get your books today, y'all, to have some discussions. We have movie nights, game nights, and now talk nights with 101 Conversational Questions available on Amazon.com. And Joyce, and we got Merle holding the book. We got a new arriver here. But we won't pose this question. We're going to close it out. If you would please like and share and comment the video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye now.
Bye.